What's going on, everybody? This Wednesday, March 12th, 2025. My name is Kevin Smith. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Loud Majority Live. We got a jam-packed show for you guys today. Later in the show, we're going to be joined by one of my favorite people in the New York State Senate, Mario Matera, where we are going to talk about the possibility of a New York State prison guard strike. This is something that is not getting enough national attention, but it needs to. It absolutely needs to, because this could be a serious problem very, very soon. You can't have these kind of guys going on strike. Somebody has to guard the jails. And Kathy Hochul and, unfortunately, the future mayor of New York, Mario Cuomo, did I just call him Mario Cuomo? Andrew Cuomo is pretty much the reason for this strike. We're going to be a big fan of Mario. Also, I think Mario really represents this sort of new shift in the Republican Party towards labor that we haven't really, has not been present in the past on the Republican side of the aisle. So, big fan of Mario. I want you guys to meet him. Some of you may know him. He's a really good guy. Really good guy. So, we're going to be talking to Mario in a little bit. Also, Rosie O'Donnell. Rosie has fled the country. She is now living in Ireland. Trump with the ultimate troll against her, which, look, it's not news. It's just really funny. It's not news. It's just really, really funny. A bunch of other stories I do want to make sure I get to. Crazy Palestinians are very upset that we're arresting terrorists for doing terrorist-type things at Columbia. But before we get started, guys, hit that thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. I even did my hair for you guys today. What are y'all thinking? What are you guys thinking, guys? As always, the show is brought to you guys by Old Glory Bank.
What do a neurosurgeon, a country artist, and a television and radio host have in common? They all saw the writing on the wall. Big banks sharing your financial information with big government. Join them as owners in Old Glory Bank, the pro-America online bank that protects your privacy, security, and liberty. Invest today at own.oldglorybank.com.
Guys, check out my friends over at oldglorybank.com. That's oldglorybank.com. Go to own.oldglorybank.com. Guys, make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. I know Jeremy went a little bit long. This, it happens. It happens. What can you do? So, as you see from the title of the show today, there may be a strike with the New York State prison guards. Now, people go on strike all the time. People go on, unions go on strike all the time. This is just sort of stuff that happens. Now, there are a large faction of unions in this country that are not allowed to go on strike. That would be firemen, police officers, sanitation workers, people of essential services. It's something called the Taylor Law, where certain industries, certain unions are not allowed to go on strike, which gives them a serious problem when it comes to collectively bargaining on their own behalf. Now, we can get into the justification of whether or not that is good, whether or not that is appropriate, whether or not that's something that a union should have the power to do. If you have the power to collectively bargain, should you have the power to strike on your own behalf? Now, we can talk about that all the live long day and still have a bit of a problem here. But when it comes to safety, there is a serious problem bubbling up with the New York State prison guards. And we're going to get to that in 1 second with State Senator Mario Matera. Guys, we'll be right back. Alrighty, guys, we are back. There's been a story that's been bubbling up in the news over the course of the last couple of weeks that I really feel like has not gotten enough attention. It has to do with the corrections officers in upstate New York. There was a huge rally in front of the Capitol building in Albany to support the corrections officers and their demands for a safe working environment. Here to talk about that and so much more is my favorite state senator, State Senator Mario Matera from District number 2 up on the North Shore of Long Island. One of my favorite people in Albany ever. Having worked there, I think I can say that out loud. So, Senator,
wow.
How are you?
Great. Thank you for the introduction, Kevin. I appreciate it very much. And to all my good friends with the Loud Majority, I thank you so much for all you guys do. We had a big year this year, you know that, with our great President Trump. And I'm very, very excited. What he's been doing in these last couple of weeks has been amazing. And that State of the Union was very interesting, wasn't it, Kev?
Oh, it was a lot of fun to watch Democrats not stand up and clap for a child with cancer or a Gold Star mother or an angel mom or a kid that got into West Point. I mean, they don't know which way is up right now, and it is crazy to see. You know what though? I will say, whoever's making them do these TikTok videos, keep doing it, because they're the weirdest things ever.
It's just so sad. But, it's the same thing that's happening up here in Albany. Dysfunctional government at its worst. We're going to have a budget this year, $255 billion more than Texas, Florida, and South Dakota, and North Dakota combined. It's going to be a total disaster. But you know what? This is about the hardworking men and women of labor. That's with the correction officers in my background, Kevin. You know that. As a union leader, this is a disgrace what's happening. And what they did was, they took the tools away from our correction officers with the HALT Act when that was passed. And you know what? We got a governor that was Governor Cuomo. We can talk about all the things that he did. He did the HALT Act. He did the cashless bail. He did the congestion pricing. We could go on and on with the nursing home. And guess what? He probably has a good chance of being the mayor of New York. And what a disgrace that is, that he put these forward. This HALT Act has been a total disaster, what they have done to take the tools away. Like I tell people, I'm a plumber. I come to your home and I say, you know what? I can fix that leak, but I don't have the tools to fix the leak. I don't have the tools to fix the leak. That's what they did to the correction officers here.
So what's going on up there? Because and we saw them all rallying. We know that there's been talks of a walkout, or some kind of wildcat strike, or for the non-labor people, a wildcat strike is kind of when you only do half the job, or when you work incredibly slowly. We see that in a lot of the essential stuff, because most people don't know there are some unions out there that, whether it's cops or firemen or sanitation, they actually are not allowed to go on strike. So it kind of leaves them at the burden, or it leaves them unable to collectively bargain for a lot of the stuff that they want, because they don't have the same sort of recourses that maybe the carpenters or the electricians have.
Okay, so me with the building trades, we could go on strike. This is called the Taylor Law. That's a law that, in other words, you can't go on strike. But this is a safety issue. That's like the school teachers right now. And what bothers me with the other side, my friends I want to say friends anymore because they're not friends. On the other side of the aisle, Kev, what they did was they passed this HALT Act, and it's a safety issue. So now it comes down to, like, let's talk about our school teachers. Say there's an asbestos problem in the school, and they're not doing anything about it. And they go out and won't do a walkout. That's what's happening here. They do a walkout because it's a safety issue. Zero to do with the Taylor Law. Okay?
So what are this? I mean, look, let's be honest. You work in a jail. There are risks associated with that. So what are the safety issues that the corrections officers are either upset with or demanding be fixed?
Okay, so you have solitary confinement. You know that, right? Right now, they can't even go and say, in other words, we're going to put them in solitary, very small. Like they would go sometimes in solitary confinement if it was something serious, whatever happened in the jail. They can't even do that anymore. Let's talk about mandatory overtime. They're burnt out. They're working 14-hour shifts, and it's mandatory. So they're losing their family. They're totally losing. They're getting burnt out, the workers. Let's talk about they can't even do anything. They're throwing urine at them, feces at them. They're throwing semen at. They're disgusting what they're doing, bodily fluids at them. They can't even do their job to even go and put them, in solitary confinement with things like that.
So basically what you're saying is there's really no repercussions for the inmates when they either step out of line or when they get violent or anything like that. And a lot of that is, I mean, we have some of the most famous prisons in America right here in New York, whether it's Sing Sing or Attica or Rikers Island. These guys deal with the worst of the worst. I mean, we're talking Joe Lifton, Son of Sam. Like,
this is in Nassau, Suffolk County. But you got to remember something. They are understaffed. They have one correctional officer, 60 inmates. Kevin, this is. I understand that's the job that they took. We understand that. And then the other thing is they can't find anybody because it is tier 6. You have to be 65 years old to retire. So guess what? Everybody's like, I'm not waiting to that. They can't. So no, they can't find anybody to do these jobs anymore.
It used to
So this is a
be.
huge problem. So they're understaffed. So now what they did was they brought this state National Guard in. They have kids that are 19 years old that got no training to do anything right now. So now Governor Hochul put them in harm's way. And since they're understaffed, they're going to be in there for a long time. We found out today they could be there for a really long time till they finally get people that are going to want to do these jobs. And
So
they
the
can't
new
find anybody.
so the new retirement requirements. It used to just be for those watching around the country. A lot of these jobs used to be 20 and out. You would come in when you were 22, you retire when you were 40, you go get another job. Now it's at the point where I believe it's 25 and 65, correct?
Oh, yeah. Well, again, I think sometimes it's even 40 and 65. That's how bad. Seriously, this is serious. So nobody wants to do this. They're like, what am I doing this for? One thing that, these jobs, you do what you did have, like with tier 4. You had what you just said, 20 and out. Yes, you took a reduction. You don't have that anymore with tier 6. So you know what? Again, they're burning out. What's happening, the inmates have more control than the correction officers in these correction facilities.
And I want to be clear, we are not talking like pretrial detention. Some guy gets a DWI. These are killers. These are hardened criminals. These are rapists. These are lifers, gang leaders. These are the ones who they're not coming out.
There's bad actors. That's all I can tell you. But people that are going to be in there for life that are in here. That's how bad this is. And you know what? They don't care about life. So you know what they do? These correction officers, they put them in harm's way by taking the tools away from them. The HALT Act needs to be repealed. Case
and
closed.
The HALT Act, just for our viewers, the HALT Act is what?
The HALT Act is all the laws that they put back in 2000. And when the Governor Cuomo made sure that he got this put forward, and this is the one that's solitary confinement. This is where they put it this way: a visitor wants to come in. This is how crazy this is, Kevin. You'll never believe this one. Visitor comes in. The CEO has to ask the visitor, can I frisk you or can I wand you? Put it this way. Go to the airport. Go into the Capitol. You have to be frisked or you have to be wand. Guess what? And the visitor says, no. They're walking in with all kinds of contraband. And that's another problem that with the HALT Act. Guess what? The visitors, guess what? Have more rights. And so the inmates more rights than the COs. They can't even do their job. They say, sorry, I don't want to be frisked or I don't want to be one. They're walking in.
So if I go to visit somebody in prison, yes, I can deny any sort of search. I can bring in weapons, drugs, yes, anything I want.
Right, drugs, weapons, anything, any kind of contraband.
You know, it is mind blowing to me because this is one of those things that show that the Democrats continue to overplay their hand because they went from people shouldn't get locked up for smoking pot in the park to now we're allowing people to sneak heroin into jails. That's all in one massive omnibus sort of bill that it just shows the Democrats can never take a baby step on anything. And then with the single party control in Albany and Governor Hochul, who, thinks I love when she thinks she's one of us. She's not. Like, you're from Buffalo. Like, you're not from Brooklyn. Like, it drives me crazy. But she has no idea about any of this stuff. And
as well as I know, the governor is getting bad advice. I have no idea where she's getting this from. And what I did was I sent you a video. What did you think about my video with the Department of Labor? Now, you got to understand something. I was angry. That's just like when you see Congress, you see the hearing going on. I'm sitting there, and my colleagues on the other side get to speak first because they're in the majority. And can you believe you had Senator Ramos, which is the chairperson for labor, didn't bring it up. And it's amazing how the families were up there Monday and Tuesday. Tuesday, there was a labor committee meeting. And it's amazing how she got sick and she wasn't there because she knew that all these families, they came into us, they came into our conference room. We sat there and they told the stories, how their families are being broken up, how their husbands and wives right now, they're mentally drained.
Oh yeah.
And it's affecting them, and it's affecting all their families. There's breakups now over this.
Oh yeah, I
So
mean, and you know,
again,
it's a hard enough job because essentially, I mean, you know, when you think about it, when you work in a jail, half of the day you go to prison, like essentially, and to see that they are not getting the types of resources that are required, and this whole 40 and 65 thing. I mean, why would any 20-year-old take a job that they're locked into for 4 decades?
that they're not going to do it. But again, now let's talk about, now we have the Department of Labor. What is the Department of Labor supposed to do when there's problems? In other words, there's safety issues. So you saw that video and you saw what I asked her, and she goes right away and blames docs.
Mhm.
That's what she does. And you know what? I'm sitting there and saying to her, okay, docs, Department of Corrections and Community Supervision, okay? No, you are the Department of Labor. You got a complaint because they did complain to her and she did nothing. And like I told her, she's just passing it along.
Mhm.
Like she has nothing to do with it. Why do we have the Department of Labor? This is a safety issue. This has zero to do with money, Kevin.
Mhm.
Zero to do with anything about, their wages. This is zero to do about that. This is safety. And we have the Department of Labor, Roberta Reardon, the commissioner, doing absolutely zero. And that's why it went around like wildfire. I wasn't going to send out that video because I thought I even saw it. I go, wow, I was very tough. You know what? I said to my chief of staff, post it. And guess what happened? I posted it. I didn't get one negative on there. Then we had the rally on Tuesday, and I got up there on the bullhorn. And you know what? All those correction officers know that I'm a union leader. I'm a fighter to protect them from what their rights are. Right now, the inmates have more rights than our correction officers. That's how bad this is.
It's out of control, and and it worries me because I mean, cops can't walk out, firemen can't walk out, corrections officers definitely can't walk. I mean, what would even happen? I mean, I don't know if it'll get this bad or if something will change, but what would it take for these guys just to go, I'm done, I'm walking away?
I know, I'm finding a new profession, and the worst thing about it is we're put in harm's way in the state National Guard's people. They're there.
Mhm.
No, they're not qualified. And do you realize what the governor did also too, to go punish them even more, the correction officers? She took away their health insurance. She takes their health, and even worse than that, they can't even go apply for COBRA. She took that away too, Kevin.
It is
Seriously. But you know what? There it is. I'm a union leader. People who go to me, Senator Matera, how are you a union leader? You're not a Democrat. I said, excuse me. I don't understand that question, because the people I represent go to work every day to work hard, to go put food on the table and ask for nothing for free.
Mhm.
That's what I would say. Now I have them. The Democrats are saying there's such big union people. I was in the elevator with two Republican colleagues, Democratic colleagues on the elevator the other day. I had my overcoat on coming back in after the rally. And I went to both of them. I go, wow, you put your coats away that fast. I knew they weren't there. They didn't show up. They go,
Yeah.
we wouldn't go to that. They are breaking the Taylor law. I go, this is a safety issue. They go, no, it's not. They're breaking the I go, excuse me. This is all about safety and protecting their lives, that they're frightened for their lives.
And it's also,
where is the Department of Labor?
It's also important for a lot of people to understand when we're talking about prisons, and there are people watching this all over the country. When you set up a prison the size of Attica, the size of Sing Sing, that other one that I can never remember the name of, but you drive past it when you go in upstate all the time. When you set up a prison like that, the town, that is the job. Everyone works around there. So if these guys all quit, the town dies. I mean, this is a catastrophe waiting to happen. And you know what? This wouldn't be the first time we saw prison issues take national stage. And once that happens, whether it was Pelican Bay or whether it was Attica back in the 70s, it doesn't end well.
The worst thing is they're closing prisons left and right upstate and everything like that because of the bail reform. Mm-hmm. And we have somebody that's going to run for mayor that did all this. Andrew Cuomo did all of this.
And you know what's wild?
Kills me.
He's going to win.
He's going to win. And you know what? And you know what? He'll go, you know what? There it is. Do you see what he wants to do? He wants to go put 5,000 more police patrolling New York City. Mm-hmm. Imagine that. And guess what? All these criminals are getting away with it. It's like the bank robber robbing the bank and getting away with it. That's what Cuomo did.
It's out of control. So one other thing I always like talking to you about, but we've seen a real shift in the Republican Party from the sort of Paul Ryan era of breaking up unions in Wisconsin to a real sort of more pro-labor sort of move, whether it's Lori Chavez DeRemer being appointed the Secretary of Labor. She's very pro-union out of Oregon. President Trump was down there with all the construction workers and all the trades guys in the city. You're a union leader as a Republican. Where is this coming from? Is this sort of a one-off with President Trump, or do you think those guys who take the train in every morning and wear those hard hats, they are just done with the Democratic Party, and this is just the first step?
They were always like that. Just so you know, I did a survey with my local with the plumbers, and 85% plus were registered Republican conservatives. Especially what's been happening, this far left is just out of control. Mm-hmm. Just that, just totally dysfunctional what they're doing. And look at this again. The other night just proved that they're sour. They're no good. Look at Pelosi. I mean, look at all of them. We could just see. Look at their faces. Look at the green. Look at the green. Look what he got with his cane. All this. You could go sit there and say this, but not getting up for those families. Mm-hmm. It's a disgrace to the country. But there was President Trump. You like what he said, Hiawatha, right? That was funny. That was that was too much. But again, he's too much with that. I love that, but he's funny. But this isn't funny. This is serious. This is serious. And what they uncovered with Elon Musk, bam, he was reading off of all of the fraud that was going on. Those billions of dollars.
Well, I laugh because if we had a Doge in New York State, that would be the size of the totality of you would have to make another government just to fix the sort of consultant swamp that.
Okay, I can talk about it. $5 billion in the last 2 years in the budget. $5 billion in the budget. Kathy Hochul's budget went to the illegal migrants. And you know what? We have people, just so you know, our unemployment, and I said this too, you saw it on that video, 4.5% unemployment rate, which equates to 400,000 plus of New Yorkers that are unemployment, that we need to get them jobs first before we get the illegal migrants jobs. Mm-hmm. That's the problem. We have all these jobs, and Roberta Reardon will tell me, oh, we even have state jobs for them. Really? I want to educate our New York residents, our taxpayers, to get those jobs. I said to her, you saw that.
It used to be, at least here in New York, if you got a city job, you got a state job, you didn't have to, that was a lot of people's plans. You got out of high school, you became a cop, you became a fireman, you worked for the MTA, you did all of that. Now it seems like I don't know one guy that's like 19 that's like excited for a career in civil service. My whole family, my father worked on the bridge, my stepmother worked on the bridge, Con Edison, every one of them, they all did those sorts of things. And now to me, it's like coming out of high school, would I ever go get a job as an MTA conductor or a court officer?
Tier 6 needs to be fixed. I'm sorry. It needs to go back to tier 4. It's the only way you're going to get these people back. But again, absolutely. I got Cuomo. There he is. Bail reform, does all this. I got to say it again because it makes me sick that people don't realize what he has done to this state, even with energy issues. But getting back to our correctional officers, they have a meeting today, right now. Hopefully they're going to resolve this. But 5:00, they're speaking right now with the commissioner to see what they're going to be doing with this, and to hopefully come up with something good that they could go back to work. Because not for anything, they're not getting a paycheck, and they lost their health care insurance. This is a disgrace of what we're doing. And the other side, the Democrats, did all this. We need to repeal HALT. HALT needs to be repealed. And you know what? The governor, the 90-day, pause is not going to fix the problem. Mm-hmm. That's why they're sitting there going, no, we want to fix now. We don't want a 90-day, and then it's going to happen all over again.
Well, Senator, thank you so much for letting everybody know what's going on, because this is one of those things that if it doesn't get resolved in whatever way very soon, it's going to be a national issue that you know, like I said, with Attica back in the 70s, with it wasn't Pelican Bay. I think it was the other one in California where they had the big raid, and the court officers just went, I don't see nothing.
And Kathy, just give you a heads up, Kathy Hochul does not want to go to President Trump.
Mm-hmm.
She does not want to. She's like this because we need to federalize these state workers to make sure they get a pension and they get the health care because they're not getting that right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a press conference today to say we need federal help with this. And guess what happens? I'm going to tell you something right now. She'll never go to President Trump. You know it, and I know it.
Ever. Well, you know what? If she's not going to go to President Trump, we'll have to bring President Trump to her. We'll bring him over to Bill's Nation out there on the west end of New York. Senator Matera, thank you so much for joining us. Honestly, guys, one of my favorite elected officials anywhere on this island for sure. He is up there in the worst city in America, Albany. It's the coldest damn place you've ever been in your whole life. I swear.
It's cold when it's not cold.
It's never warm. It's like when I lived there 10 years ago, I swear I saw a penguin walking down the street, right down Locke Street. It was just flopping along. But Senator Matera, I will catch you when you get back to town.
Love you, Kevin. Thank you, Loud Majority. Keep up the great work. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All righty, guys, we will be right back.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 six-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed because right now, every order ships absolutely free.
Guys, head on over to MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. That's MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. I want to thank Senator Mario Matera for coming on. Really, just an awesome guy. Senator Matera actually helped us out a great, great deal when many of you helped out as well, when we did the hurricane relief drive for North Carolina. Senator Matera and his union. I forgot the name of the union, but it's the Long Island Plumbers. Don't get mad at me, Senator. Helped us out a tremendous amount with that. So Senator Matera continues to fight for New Yorkers in every possible way. He's a good friend of the show, and I want to thank him for coming on. But it's wild. It's absolutely wild that these prison guards have to work mandatory 14-hour days, no time off. Nothing. They get nothing from the state. They got to work 40 years until they're 65 in order to get their retirement. But is that what the left is crying about? Is that what the left is in Albany banging their fists against the table about? No, 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 no. Of course not. They're up in Albany complaining that Tom Homan came for a visit. And, of course, now that he's left, they quiet down because none of this is real. It's all a show. Want more proof that it's just a show? That guy yelling, "Do you believe in the First Amendment, Tom Homan? Do you believe in the First Amendment?" Well, of course, that would be Zoltan Morietti, or whatever the hell his name is, running for mayor of New York.
How many more New Yorkers want charged? Do you believe in the First Amendment? Do you believe in the First Amendment, Tom Homan? How many more New Yorkers want to charge that target?
I don't know. It looks to me like Zoltan ought to be fired. I'm sorry. Look, that's not his name. It's like Zohan, but I can't say that because then I think of Don't Mess with the Zohan, and then I laugh even harder. So I've decided that from now on, I'm just going to call him Zoltan. Some of you get it. Chat, let me know if you get the reference. Chat, let me know if you get the reference, guys, as you are hitting that thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. We're going to pop that live chat up onto the screen. I want to know how many people understand that reference. Let me know. Zoltan. Because if you do, you are immediately my favorite person watching the show. Because it's one of my favorite movies ever, even though it's probably one of the worst movies ever made. Guys, hit that thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. Share it out. Let's get this big. We got 1,000 people watching. We should have a hell of a lot more than that. I think we can get a lot more than that. Zoltan. Yes, Sleaze. Yes. It's one of the most ridiculous movies that's ever been made, but it's just silly. It's just a silly movie. Guys, do me a favor before we keep rocking and rolling here. Head on over to LFATV.us. That's LFATV.us. That's everything you need. That's everything you need for LFA TV, guys. Check out Jeremy Harrell's shop. While you guys are there, consider becoming monthly donors over at LFATV.us. That's the best way to support this network and everything we've got going on over here. We can't do it without your help. Guys, it's user-generated content, so we appreciate it. GWCAF. Dude, where's my First Amendment? That's funny as hell. That's funny. That's just funny stuff. Guys, hit the thumbs up button wherever you're watching. Share the video out all over the place. We got more stuff I want to make sure that I get to because, of course, the raging, crazy lunatics were not only in Albany, but, of course, they have made their way to Manhattan as crazy Palestinians are very upset that a terrorist sympathizer, and that's what he is, he's a terrorist sympathizer, has been arrested. We're going to get to that in just a second because the gaggle is out, everybody. The gaggle of crazies are out, and they are back to their violent ways, which, of course, will not come as a shock to any of you because you guys are regular news consumers. But some people may not know about the rampant violence that takes part at many of these Palestinian protests. This from Alia Scootercast over at freedomnews.tv.
Ain't no fascist USA! No cops! No KKK, no fascist USA! No cops! Grab me. That's illegal. Stop that. Cut that shit out. Whoa. Stop being crazy. You're agitated. Get off of him. Fuck you, Bob. You're agitated. That's illegal. Get off of him. Get off of him. That is illegal. Get off. Why are you
You're done.
He's getting arrested. Let's go.
Motherfuckers. Stop pushing. Little fucking bitches.
Hey, guys. Anyone in the street is going to be placed under arrest, guys. Let's go.
Officer, 111. Get this guy. Let's grab somebody. Let's go.
Let's go, guys. Everybody
I didn't do anything either. Get the fuck off of me. Get these fuck off.
Let's go.
She was in the street.
Stop.
I'm here. In the street. You're going to get arrested now. Get up on the sidewalk.
Just let her go. It's illegal on Tucker. Let her go.
Guys, step back, stay back!
Step back, guys, step back. Thank you. Stay back.
Hands up our students now! 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 Hands up our students now!
Get up on the sidewalk. Let's go.
Students now.
Guys, hold on. We're gonna start. Guys, you don't have to push. We're gonna start making You're blocking vehicular traffic. If you don't make it to the sidewalk, you're gonna be arrested.
National Lawyers Guild, what's your name? Let's go.
You guys all here. You're blocking traffic. Get up on the sidewalk. You're going to be arrested.
Give me a cop.
Well, that's a shame. Of course, these protests come on the heels of really no other way to say it, a terrorist supporter being told he's going to be removed from the country, which, you know, we open our doors to you. We allow your useless 35-year-olds to go to our $80,000 a year campuses only for you to foment terrorism. And I want to be clear, because I can already see it in the chat. People are losing their minds. Something about Israel. Take that shit. Get it out of here. That's number one. But more importantly, number two, it's not really about that. It's not really about that. It is about, there is a growing faction of people in this world who think that they have some right to be at American universities. American universities, which are, of course, the shining city on a hill that they are. We pay for you to come here, we give you a student visa, and then you have the audacity to shut schools down to Jewish kids? That doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense to me. I'm not sure why any country would allow that, let alone the United States. And it turns out this guy is playing a very dangerous game of FAFO. You want to lead protests? That's fine, baby. Do what you got to do. But there are going to be consequences to that. And it turns out many of these people are getting their last gasp of their paid protesting fees in before all the money dries up. And the money, of course, is drying up incredibly quickly thanks to the work of people like Doge and Lee Zeldin and many of the other cabinet secretaries exposing this sort of crap. Here's more of that.
Get your hands off him!
Make space! Make space! Get in the way! Stand back.
Stand back. Stand back. We're not coming. Stand back.
Of course, naturally, all the women have their faces covered. Why wouldn't they? Are they hiding from their actions? Or is it because we're, in Palestine, wherever that is, because I've yet to see it on a map, is it because in places like Palestine, women can show their faces? It's a logical question, I think, that we should be asking. Are they just following the basic tenets of Islam right there? I don't know. But, I don't know. Little on the nose. Little on the nose. Jeanette's right. It is the age of entitlement, where people think they have a right to things like entering our incredible country. You don't. You don't. And when you break our laws, and when you kidnap people, and when you foment terrorism, we get to throw you out. Believe me, I'm sure there are many people out there I would love to throw out of the country right off the bat just for being awful, but I can't because they're American citizens. So you know what? I don't think we need to import people into the country who already hate us. There's enough people here who can do that for free, that are meant to be here. Kenneth's right. No right. Send them home. And I think it's time. I think it is time that the Supreme Court weigh in on a very, very, very difficult question that people have been asking for quite some time. What rights do non-citizens have in this country? Do citizens and non-citizens have the same sorts of rights? I would argue the answer to that would be no. Because if they do, what is the point of being a citizen? What do I get that a random terror supporter doesn't get? What's the point? I don't know. I think it's something that the Supreme Court probably should have weighed on quite some time ago. And you know what? With the court that we have now, we may actually be able to start getting answers to many of these questions. Guys, before we keep rocking and rolling, Old Glory Bank.
When big banks decide who gets access to America's financial systems and who doesn't, who do you think gets left out? Middle Americans who proudly wave their pro-America values. Cancel culture in banking is corrosive. It limits your participation in a vibrant, free market economy. Fortunately, you can fight back. You now have the opportunity to invest in the bank that's investing in a fair American banking system, one based in freedom. Ownership in Old Glory Bank, the pro-America online bank, is here. Old Glory Bank is a full-service FDIC-insured bank that's the alternative to overreaching, un-American big banks. We stand for privacy, security, and liberty. We stand for freedom, family, faith, and the flag. We stand for all the values you stand for, and for the values big banks can't stand. So help keep banking in the hands of Main Street, not Wall Street. To invest in Old Glory Bank, go to oldglorybank.com.
Look, guys, I'm going to keep telling you this. I think every single person should have at least some of their money socked away in certified deposits. Many of you know them as CDs. Look, it's an incredible hedge against inflation, and I personally think this is not financial advice. I've got to say that for the lawyers, but I think that locking in some of these interest rates while they are still relatively high would be good. So guys, go to own.oldglorybank.com. That is own.oldglorybank.com. And check out our friends. So on tomorrow's show, we're going to have the CEO of Old Glory Bank on the show, Mike Ring. Super excited about this one. So Mike Johnson has started to come around to the fact that maybe we should be investigating some of these attacks on Tesla dealerships as domestic terrorism, which I would have no problem with whatsoever, because they very clearly are. As defined, terrorism is violence with a political motive. I would say that each one of these absolutely are. Speaker Mike Johnson announced that Congress will investigate domestic terrorism attacks against Tesla following reports of vandalism and destruction at a Tesla dealership and charging stations across the country. This comes after President Trump on Tuesday bought a Tesla and showed it off in front of the White House, which, I want to be clear, look, strictly speaking, ethically speaking, he probably shouldn't have done that. However, are we all going to die because of it? Are we all going to die? Probably not. But, alas, that's not really the point. Very clearly, this is domestic terrorism. It is violence with a political motive. Why shouldn't it be investigated? Moreover, now that we have the Department of Justice actually prosecuting crimes, perhaps some of these people might spend more than 15 minutes in jail. I don't know. I'm just saying. But oftentimes, if you give Democrats enough rope, they'll just hang themselves. Here was MSNBC questioning Donald Trump having the Teslas at the White House, and they make a pretty weird proclamation about Teslas and Trump supporters. Check this out.
Yeah, Julie, what's your reaction to this Tesla stunt? Is it ironic that the president is now touting electric vehicles?
I mean, first of all, it's not legal. Let's start with that. Second, I mean, you can't do this on the property of the White House. It's federal property. Second, I mean, really, the president is basically a car salesman now. It's just astounding with everything that's going on. I mean, literally, with everything that's going on in the world, he's taking time out of his day to array 4 or 5 Teslas on the White House lawn and basically act like a showroom salesman. By the way, I don't know who he thinks is buying Teslas, but I can guarantee you that they're out of reach, many of them, for the average Trump voter. So
they're out of reach for the average Trump voter. You hear that? You're too poor to afford a Tesla. Now, I don't know who that woman with the receding hairline is who looks like Jack Skellington, but the average Tesla, you can go buy a Tesla right now for like 35 grand. That's how much a regular car costs. But you poor people, you peasants, you plebes, obviously you are not like them. See, they're not buying Teslas because they don't want them, but you can't buy them because you're too poor. I don't know who that sunken-eyed little troll is, but, I think I speak for everybody when I say had to make sure I turned down the volume for that one, as I am doing my best to not curse on this show as often as I used to. Imagine that, you peasants. Why do you even care? You can't afford a Tesla anyway. But that's what MSNBC actually thinks of you. You're too poor to afford a Tesla, so I don't even know why Donald Trump's doing this in the first place. These people are contemptible. All of them have no morals whatsoever. None at all. None at all. And they wonder why everyone hates them. Some people, though, are beginning to understand that maybe if you just share like a modicum of truth, like a little itty bit of truth, maybe more people will tune in. And that came from CNN just today. We're going to get into that in 1 second. Before we do that, guys, head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. That's loudmajorityusa.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Check out our shop. That is the best way to support this show and everything we've got going on over here. Also, guys, while you're there, if you support what we do, consider becoming a monthly donor over at The Loud Majority. We really do appreciate the support. We're going to have some big news coming real soon. I'm real excited about it. It's going to be absolutely great. So I do appreciate the support, as always, guys, by going to loudmajorityusa.com. So as we talked about yesterday, obviously the stock market has taken a bit of a hit. I think anyone who's being honest with you will tell you that. It's obviously taken a bit of a hit. However, other things are happening in the market. The stock market is not the sole determiner of how markets and how the economy is doing, despite what Democrats would have many of you believe. It turns out, year over year, inflation is down. And the year-over-year trends are showing such that even CNN has to admit it.
Finally, we have some good news on the economy and really the number one issue for many Americans, the cost of living. So we just learned that consumer prices in February increased by 2.8% year over year, 0.2% month over month. Both of these figures were a step in the right direction, and both were better than expected. So this is definitely very encouraging to see because it's going to, I think, relieve some fears that inflation was perhaps re-accelerating because this actually breaks a streak of 4 straight months where I think you could see it on the chart all the way to the right where the inflation rate was going in the wrong direction, right? It was going higher and higher. Finally, we're seeing it dip.
Boy, that had to hurt. Boy, that had to hurt. Turns out Donald Trump said inflation was going to go down, and inflation is going down. More promises made, more promises kept. Can't stop, won't stop. Every day, Donald Trump is continuing to keep the promises that he made to us on the campaign trail. Now, has it been perfect? No, of course not. And any person who was going to tell you that it was going to be perfect was lying to you. Any person who's like, oh no, everything is going to be fine. We're going to redo the entire scope of the American economy, and there's going to be not a single itty-bitty bit of turmoil. Any person that would have said that to you, you should stop listening to because they are, in fact, a liar. Nobody made that claim. Nobody thought it was going to happen. Turns out, if you're going to fix a problem that has taken root over the course of the last several decades, there's going to be some growing pains. There's going to be some issues. And that shouldn't come as a shock to anybody. That should not come as a shock to anyone. Markets will rebound. That's what markets do. They go up, they go down, they go up again, and they go down again. Nothing about that should be shocking to anybody. But some Democrats will continue to pretend as though market volatility is not just sort of part of the game. Sort of part of the game. Guys, hit that thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. We rock. We are rolling here. I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. Let's get that. Let's see. Do we have the live chat here? Boom. There it is. Pop that live chat up on the screen. How's everybody doing today? Good stuff happening all around. Let me get a sip real quick. Boy, this hour flew by. Boy, this hour absolutely flew by. Very good. Egg prices and gas are going down too. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, many people will be out there nitpicking. All right, we didn't get the Epstein stuff yet we were promised. Okay, true, accurate. However, it's like day 50, guys. We got a lot more days of this. We got a lot more days of this coming. So everybody just take a breather. Everybody just take a breather real quick. Because even though some of the things we were promised haven't happened yet, I believe they will. Some of them haven't. Even though that has happened, we've gotten some more things that we never, ever thought we were going to get. Most notably, Rosie O'Donnell has fled America and is now claiming to live in Ireland. She has abandoned the United States, as she promised she would do, because she can no longer live in Donald Trump's America. She just can't bear it. She can't bear to do it. This she cannot bear. She is now living in the Republic of Ireland. First off, in a country dominated by Catholics, maybe her feelings towards the LGBTQ plus community may not be so mirrored in that culture. Just saying. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. However, Donald Trump sat down today with the leader of Ireland and he was questioned. He was asked about Rosie heading to Ireland, and Donald Trump gave what can only be described as one of the funniest responses ever.
Ireland is known for very happy, fun-loving people, great attitude, many in this room right now that I've met. Why in the world would you let Rosie O'Donnell move to Ireland? I think she's going to lower your happiness level.
It's true. Thank you. I like that question.
Mr.
You know,
Are you expecting?
Do you know who she is?
Yeah. I'm joking.
You better off not knowing.
President Trump.
Were we promised that? No, we weren't, but that's just funny as hell. That's just absolutely funny as hell. Watch. It is so, look, Donald Trump hates a lot of people, and a lot of people hate Donald Trump. But watching his vitriol for Rosie O'Donnell is some of the funniest stuff I've ever seen. I've never met anyone in my life who hates someone as much as Donald Trump and Rosie O'Donnell hate each other. And it's just funny. It's just funny. It's just really funny. There's no other way to say it. No other way to say it. Guys, it is almost 2 o'clock. I want to make sure I leave you guys with that bit of humor as we move on here. Guys, make sure you're hitting the thumbs up button on the way out the door. That is the best way to help this show out. Share it out with your friends. As always, guys, Will Johnson coming up next right here on this network. I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in. Guys, I will catch you guys back live tomorrow at 1 p.m. with the CEO of Old Glory Bank, Mike Ringer. Until then, everybody, stay loud.